Okay, lads. So this week we're going to move away from exam questions and we're just going to move on to some design challenges. You've done enough exam practice for the moment, and until we hear more about the junior cert exam, we're not going to do any more exam practice. Okay, so this is a design brief. So a brief is pretty much an outline of a challenge. Okay, so Colgate is trying to launch a new brand of toothpaste aimed at children. Your task is to design a prototype toothbrush that could be sold along with new toothpaste to encourage kids to buy. So this is the sample toothpaste. So you're working as a product designer and you have to try and develop a new type of toothbrush. All right, so you're going to use the design thinking process to try come up with an idea. So you will find the parameters of the problem, develop some ideas, test it out. Okay, so we're going to focus on the idea development section. Okay, so you can take a look at some ideas on the internet. You know, there's loads of ideas out there, and you can see what works and what doesn't. Okay, so this is the example of what I'd like to be laid out. All right, so we've got three-dimensional sketches, two-dimensional sketches, notes, and shadows and rendering. All right, so you're going to have to bring in your freehand sketching and rendering skills that we start working on at the start of the year. Okay, so here's a little reminder, a crate technique. So if you have a complicated shape, you could draw it in a simple box first to make it a little bit easier. So if you look at these more complicated shapes, they're all in crates. Okay, so maybe that might help you. Another way of developing a curve on a surface, if you can see here, is by drawing contour lines. These are curved lines on the shape to try give it some depth. Okay, so it works quite well here like this, and also here. Presentation techniques. All right, so sometimes using limited range of color can work well, or drawing a multiple views of the same object can look quite well also. Okay, creating a sense of scale. So if you draw a hand beside the toothbrush, we've an idea of the size of it. We could use measurements also, or you could see here with this one we have the object beside it, which is the toothpaste. So we've an idea of the scale. Notes and annotations. So your notes should be kept brief. They're only supporting your drawing, and it's kept well away from the drawing, and it's in block capitals. Showing a detail and a close-up can look quite well also. So sometimes drawing in details that looks very, very well, and it shows that you understand your design in a lot of detail. A vignette is a block of color behind the drawing, and sometimes it doesn't need to be a block of color. It can just be a lined square or rectangle or triangle. And what it does is it has the effect of lifting it off the page. Okay, so it's just a presentation technique. Directional arrows are very important. So these are different to annotational arrows. So a directional arrow indicates movement. So you can see here that this shows that this handle flexes, and also that this handle here folds out. Okay, these are some of your directional arrows. If you want to indicate a movement, this is what you should use. 2D views. This is very good. Develop the shape of something so you can come up with a whole range of different shapes. Also, if you're struggling to draw this, it can be quite good for people that are finding it difficult to draw. All right, so 2D drawings, and then you can see here like this, the contour lines are brought into it again. Okay, if you wanted to try and make it a bit 3D. Tone and shading and hatching. All right, so shadows look quite well. Hatching is these lines here. All right, so you could put that in as a shadow, or you could put it in as a tone or shading. And by tone, I mean here is there's a variation between light to dark. So try get that onto your drawings as well. Thick and thin lines. So we spoke about this a lot. So if you're still unsure how to do it, just thick lines all the way around the outside will look quite well also. But remember, if the spider is crawling from one surface onto the other and you can see both surfaces, the line in between is thin. So if the spider's crawling onto this back surface here, you won't see it. All right, so that means that the line is thick. Okay, so here's a checklist to go through. One A4 page or A3, it's up to you. Isometric and 2D drawing should be there. A close-up of a detail, a sense of scale, some notes, rendering, color, a vignette, directional arrows, and a crate technique. Okay, you have the week to do this.